Hello, hello, my lovelies. How are you? Let me just do a quick sound check here, make sure mic is working properly. Can I hear myself?
Hello, my lovelies.
Yes,
How are
I can.
you?
Absolutely. Awesome. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Hello, husband. I see you there. How are you? How are you? I'm glad you're here. And you're on time. Yay! A couple of announcements. So, not only this week did I hit the 25,000 milestone followers, 25,000 followers on Twitter this week. Today, just like an hour ago, I hit 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Oh my God, I am over the moon. This is so exciting because this means that I get to unlock my community tab. Now, everywhere that I've looked to see when the community tab gets unlocked, I don't know. I am kind of getting within the first week of hitting that milestone. You get the community tab unlocked. It kind of just shows up when it shows up. So keep an eye out because I am definitely going to be making use of that once I have it. I'm so excited. Excuse me. Thank you so much to everybody that subscribed. I mean, like, I've gained something like 30 subscribers in the last couple of days. So that is amazing. I love you all. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. As well. So most of my subscribers and you guys that watch me know that I am in the middle of the immigration process to the US, and we are kind of at the final stages of it. I have my interview day set. I have appointments to get all kind of like the last things that I have to do before my interview done in the next couple of weeks. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that everything goes well and that we will be in Pennsylvania as permanent residents in this summer sometime. I'm really, really hoping. So what that means for me is that I'm going to be able to go back to a regular streaming schedule. So my streams will be a little more consistent. I'll be able to use my camera again. I have an actual like a desk and a setup where I'll be able to stream. So I'm really, really excited, and I'm really looking forward to going back and being a little more consistent with my schedule, and probably going to be restarting tea time. Now, last year I had started doing like a daily tea time where it was like an hour, and we just sat around and talked about certain topics, stuff that's going on in the news, that kind of thing. And I really, really enjoyed that. And unfortunately, moving where we are now and the internet being as crappy as it is, it's just not something that I can do right now. Like, I can't even get on camera, unfortunately, because it's such poor quality. But that's going to be changing. So I'm really looking forward to getting those types of projects back into the works so that, I can stream more and I can kind of get back into this more. And I'm really excited about that. So lots of good things coming. The next few weeks are going to be absolute chaos because getting ready for the interview in May and all of that is just going to be, it's going to be crazy. I'm going to be super busy. So I can't really commit to any type of streaming schedule right now, but I will stream when I'm able to stream. So, but things are going to change. This is only going to be temporary. And I'm looking forward to big things in the future. And I mean, now that I have the 500 subscribers and I'm have access to my community tab, I'm really super excited for that. And the next goal will be 1,000 subs. So we'll see what happens when we get there. Now, most of you who are aware of what's going on with Shanny and Rev know that a couple of days ago, Shanny had her channel terminated. Like, second channel was monetized. I think she was monetized for what, like a month? And she got the old kibosh. So, Rev's channel has since disappeared, which is a good thing that I did the last stream when I did it, because it was gone by the end of the day. So it was a good thing I grabbed it when I did. I'm not sure if Rev got terminated or not. I haven't really heard. He might have just deleted it, because that's kind of what Rev does sometimes too, right? He deletes his shit. And it's very possible that with Shanny having her channel terminated, she pressured him into deleting his as well. So that's a possibility. I don't know. I haven't heard any news about that since then. But since they have come out and said that they are not going to be, Shanny's, leaving all social media behind yet again, I thought until she pops back up somewhere, we would take a look at some of her older content. Because I didn't actually start watching Shanny until probably just before they made the move from Colorado to Pennsylvania. So sometime around in like April, May of last year is when I really started watching and learning about Shanny and her story. So there's a lot of content from like 2020, 2019 that I haven't seen. And this is one of them. Hi, Glitchy. How are you? Welcome. It's good to see you. Do you have a wrench, Glitchy? I hope you have a wrench. Let's see. Let me see. Come on, are you going to cooperate? Yes, you do have your wrench. Okay. You see, it doesn't tell me when I'm watching on StreamYard who has a wrench and who doesn't. I have to actually pull up YouTube to make sure that the people that I want to have wrenches have wrenches. Anyway, so until Shanny makes her appearance again somewhere online, be that Instagram, because that's kind of what she did last time, is she went from, after YouTube got terminated, she streamed on Instagram for a while. I don't know if that's been deleted or not, but we'll have to see. I am blocked. Excuse me. I am blocked from her Instagram. That was funny because she blocked me immediately on Instagram before I even had a chance to like comment or anything. She does not like me. So if she happens to pop up somewhere, then we'll start reviewing her new stuff. We know it's only a matter of time because they always come back. She stopped uploading. She got terminated, Glitchy. Her account was terminated in like June of 2021. After they made the whole move to Pennsylvania from Colorado, because she was broadcasting her children being verbally abused by her husband, basically. So she was permanently terminated. She wasn't supposed to have another account, because when you get that permaban from YouTube, that's it. You're done. Like you're not allowed to have another account. Well, she went ahead and created another account and actually got to a point where she was able to monetize again. Now, how they managed to do that, I don't know. But it only lasted for a month and she was terminated again 2 days ago. So she doesn't have any new content as of yet. She has sworn off social media. Rev made an official statement about Shanny being done with the internet. But I mean, this is something that she does. She has constantly said, I'm done with internet. I'm done with it. God, blah, blah, blah. And then she's gone for like a week or two, and then she pops up again. So she can't stay away. They are both addicted to the internet. She sits on her ass at home in bed all day. What else has she got but the internet? So I have a feeling she's going to pop up again. How soon that's going to be, I don't know. But in the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at her older content from like 2020, stuff that I haven't actually watched before. So she's still on Twitch. She's supposed to stream in a few days. Well, I noticed that the day that she got terminated, she was scheduled to do a Stardew Valley stream, or the new Chrono Switch or whatever it was. But I never actually went back to see if she did it. So this will be interesting to see if she actually does, because she's still monetized on Twitch. Like she's an affiliate on Twitch, so she can make money there. Whether or not she does it, who knows? But I mean, she kind of went the same route last time, right? Where she went to Twitch and she went to Instagram thinking that she was going to make a lot of money, and she wasn't really getting any viewership over on Twitch. I don't even know if she actually made any money from that. Hi, Dude Brothers. How are you? So who knows where she's going to. I got my paycheck on Twitch. Awesome, Glitchy. I haven't streamed on Twitch in probably a good 8 months or so. But good news is that we are hopefully headed to Pennsylvania before the summer. So I noticed Offensive Atheist. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because, you are one of the people that helped me reach my goal so I can unlock my community tab. That's awesome. Doesn't she only get 3 watchers on Twitch? I have not seen her have more than 3 watchers on Twitch, so that could be why she's not streaming there. I don't know, but she doesn't get a whole lot of viewership on Twitch. And Twitch doesn't pay you out for viewership. You get paid by people subscribing to your channel, and people like donating bits and stuff like that, right? So just showing up and watching Shanny, she doesn't benefit really at all from that. So it'll be interesting to see if she decides to go that route again. But this particular stream is from August of 2020. And if I recall correctly, when I started, like I watched like the first 2 minutes of this video to kind of get an idea of what it was about. And this is her bitching about Dragnot, talking about her and Rev's porn. Because from what I understand, and unfortunately, I have seen the Shanny and Rev porn. I can't ever get that time back, unfortunately, but I have seen it. And will be forever traumatized. It is all publicly on Twitter, and the curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to look it up, and I can never unsee it. Oh my God. But I have seen Rev and his baby carrot, and I have seen Shanny, and I've seen that woman naked more than I ever care to for the rest of my life, unfortunately. Anyway, this is a stream of her apparently bitching about drag, talking about her and Rev's porn from OnlyFans. I haven't seen her do anything in a while. The last time that she streamed was, what was it, the other day? When I did my stream, she had done a stream on YouTube that morning before she got terminated. So it's been like 3 days. So we shall see whether or not she pops up again. I think she's going to. She does every time. They kind of go through this cycle where they delete everything. Oh, I'm getting off social media, blah, blah, blah. But when you think about it, what else is Shanny going to do with her time, right? She sits at home. She's basically bedridden. She doesn't bathe. She doesn't take care of her kids. She doesn't work. What else has she got to do but the internet, right? And what is she going to do without that constant need for attention? She doesn't get it on Twitch. So she's either going to have to start up another YouTube channel or actually start streaming somewhere else. I told her I saw her porn and she called me a perv. I said, nah, I wanted to see what... It was pretty gross. It was, yeah, it was not porn that I was interested in seeing. Like, they didn't even really, like, okay, so I understand big girls out there will make porn. I'm a big girl myself, right? Like, I am not a small person. So it's not that I'm shaming her because she's big, but there was no entertainment value there at all. Like, it was, what I saw was like the most boring vanilla crap that you can imagine. It wasn't entertaining. It was just more of a, there was just more shock value of, I can't believe you're doing this. But, you know, I thought you were asking for suggestions like what she can do. She could toilet train her children for one. Yeah, she could try paying more attention to her boys and their behavioral problems, because, you know, pissing in the corner. But, like, I mean, you can't really blame them for that, honestly, because look at the state that the boys' bathroom was in, right? Can you blame the boys for not wanting to use that washroom when the toilet's covered in feces? Like, I mean, she's got to get up and start taking care of things for her boys so that their behavior issues kind of, you know, adapt to that. Because I'm sure if they actually had a clean washroom to use, they would be more inclined to use it. But that's got to be something that Shanny's willing to do, and I don't think she's ever willing to do it. Like, find some talent, find a personality, definitely gamer. Like, she could, all of those things. I mean, she constantly bitches about, well, I can't get a job, I'm disabled, I'm sick, blah, blah, blah. The pandemic has given us the wonderful opportunity of working from home. And there are plenty of customer service jobs that you can do from the comfort of your home on your computer. And all you need is a headset, an internet connection, and your laptop. So Shanny has opportunities to be able to actually work real jobs and do things. She just doesn't want to. It's not that the opportunities aren't there, is that she's just not willing to look for them. And it's easier for her to e-beg online. So she could drive Uber or something. I don't think she can drive Sleek Leak. I don't know if she has her license or not. And she might be to the point where she might be too big to get behind the wheel. I don't know. But in my time of watching her, I've never actually seen her behind the wheel. And this was actually brought up about Rev as well, because Rev had put out saying that he had a job opportunity with Uber. But you got to think, if you're going to drive with Uber, you've got to have a valid vehicle. So that means you have to have it safety. You have to have the tags on it up to date. You have to have the registration up to date. You've got to have valid insurance on it. And you have to have a clean driving record. How many of those things does Rev really have? And the fact that that vehicle is probably set up to be repoed as well. So, I mean, that's a vehicle that could be taken away from them at any time. So that's a big risk to be driving around a vehicle if you get pulled over, you know what I mean, and you don't have insurance or anything on it. Like, you can rent a vehicle. I don't know if you can rent a vehicle to drive Uber. I'm not sure. That's an interesting point. I have never really looked into what it takes to drive with Uber, so I wouldn't know. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Her boys are in danger. Her grip on reality is slipping fast. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, the moment that they got to Pennsylvania, I don't know why Pennsylvania CPS didn't, get more involved in what's going on. Like, the fact that they're constantly begging online for money for food because they can't feed the boys, yet they're spending their EBT on crap at the beginning of the month. Like, that would be a red flag. And that's something that they're constantly putting out there in the public, right? We've seen the state of their apartment. So why wouldn't CPS want to go in and make sure that they're living in a safe environment? Apparently the house that they're living in is fucking condemned. Like, that would be a red flag right there. Why are you letting 2 children live in a house that's condemned? Like, that's not a safe environment. So, I mean, it really calls into question the authorities and what that they're actually doing, what they're allowing. G-Man basically pays their bills. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was funny because Rev had stated that he's going to be the man of the house. He's the man of the house and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, you're not a man at all. You don't take care of your family. You don't have a job to take care of your responsibilities. Like, he's not. The children are calling another man daddy, right? So Rev is just kind of passed off all of his fatherly duties apparently to somebody else, including the financial responsibility of taking care of his family. So she made up with G-Man. That is so off and on that I don't really know. The day that Shanny got suspended, G-Man was over at the house because he did make an appearance in Rev's videos. So I'm assuming. And then there's talk of whether or not G-Man lives in the basement. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of claims. But it's sometimes it can be harder to confirm stuff. This is why I kind of rely on Drag for my information, because I know that Drag not actually verifies the information of what's going on with them. So he's a source that I know that I can trust when it comes to what's going on with them. I meant after the whole evicting him thing or whatever. Oh yeah, definitely. They had made up. God, they were friends, I think, before they went to Pennsylvania in like May of last year. They had made up. And then when they first showed up and stayed at Rev's uncle's house, they were making a bunch of videos together. So I think G-Man kind of feels like he owes them a debt. So that's why he's paying their bills, because obviously their internet is still on. They still have phones. They've got some food, and he's spending a lot of out-of-pocket money for their Delta 8. So he's providing them with their drug fix as well, and cigarettes and all that. So there's got to be something that they have over G-Man to be able to get him to be paying all their bills for them. So, where she gave him money for his phone and she spent it, or he spent it not on his phone or whatever. Yeah, I remember all that. It, you know, it's like a soap opera, honestly. That's why I think it's so entertaining. It's because there's so much information going on. There's so many things going on in the background, and you're like, holy fuck. But let's get into watching this video. Again, this is her bitching about Dragnot, making comments about their porn from OnlyFans. That's cute that you read drugs. Well, you know what though? It's not even Delta 8 is like what? It's not even considered real weed, is it? It's like a derivative, so it's like CBD or something like that. Basically a G slave. Yeah, that's basically what he is. They're just using him for his money at this point, I believe. I think that's what Shanny uses anybody for. She uses them for their money, and then once that dries up, then she moves on to the next one, right? I'm really sad that we can't watch them decline into homelessness. I just watch her to hear the boys. Yeah. Gamer. I think that they're going to be back. I don't think Shanny has the ability to stay away from the internet. I think she really kind of thrives on the attention that she gets, whether it be positive or negative. So I don't see her staying away for long, because then she's just left with what? G-Man and Rev. And honestly, who would want to be stuck with just Rev all the time? I think I would go fucking insane. Shanny's heart is probably the size of a canned ham. I'd imagine so. I mean, that good old crinkle heart, right? All right, so let's hear her bitch about our wonderful drag the bully. Oh, also, before I start this is from XX Archives. She has been uploading a lot of Shanny's older streams, so if you haven't already subscribed to her and you want to catch up on all that stuff, go sub to her. There's a link to her in the description below.
YouTube. I think that really does imply YouTube. I think YouTube is a professional and social situation. And
I can't hear the word situation anymore without thinking of Brett Keane. Good Lord.
Behavior that Dragnot gave was completely unwelcome and completely sexual, inappropriate remarks dealing with me and my husband's genitalia. And I don't care how much you like to frickin' spin it and say, oh, you did porn. No, this is sexual harassment. Because
so apparently Shanny's trying to reclass sexual harassment by saying that Dragnot having an opinion on her and Rev's porn is somehow sexual harassment. I mean, opinions aren't illegal. So, I mean, they try to spin things so much to try and make themselves look like victims, and it just fails miserably. Why are you not updating? There we go. The mac and cheese situation. I know, right? Like, I can't. Now that I know who Brett Keane is and I know about the individual in the situation, Dorn, bring me the mac and cheese. Like, I can't. I just can't. It's just one of those words I can't take seriously anymore. 1 million people leaving you one comment isn't harassment, it's feedback. Right. Like, having an opinion on something is not harassment. You know, but apparently other people aren't allowed to have opinions that Shanny doesn't like.
Because it's unwelcomed, inappropriate sexual remarks.
Oh, no. It's inappropriate sexual remarks. I put my sex videos out on the internet and somebody has an opinion about them and I don't like it. So I'm going to claim that that's illegal. I'm sorry, ShanShan. That's not how that works.
It's unwelcomed. You know why it's unwelcomed? Because I'm saying it's unwelcomed. You can say it's
unwelcomed all you want, sweetheart. Doesn't make it illegal.
How could any of you just sit there for an hour and a half listening to this man sexually harassing a woman and then claim you're a good person?
Well, for one, I don't claim to be a good person. Number two, It's entertainment, and I really enjoy Drag's commentary, and I find him very intelligent and amusing. So, and I agree with a lot of his points. I don't really care whether or not you like that, Shanny, but again, Drag is allowed to have his opinion, and he's allowed to share his opinion. You don't have to like it, but that doesn't make it illegal.
How could any of you really look at yourselves in the face, in the mirror? How can any of you say you're feminists?
Oh my God. Shanny is so upset. How could I be a feminist because I disagree with Shanny? Oh no. She really likes to change the definitions of things to suit her and again make herself look like a goddamn victim. Well, you're married to me, husband, so that's kind of a requirement. But thank you. I appreciate that.
How many of you can actually say you're men? True men. How many of you can say...
What does being a true man mean, first of all? And number two, why would it define you about being a true man or not because you listen to Dragnot and his opinions? Like, she really likes to inflate her own ego, doesn't she? Shanny's always playing the victim. Oh yeah, she's a professional victim. That's her career, basically.
You're Christians. How many of you can say you're moral atheists?
I'm a moral atheist.
After watching that and not saying any disdain.
Now it's immoral because Shanny doesn't like Drag's opinion. Okay, all right. That's cool. It's funny, Shanny, because you are sharing your opinion now and I'm disagreeing with you and I don't give a shit. I mean, you can think that I'm immoral for enjoying Dragnot's commentary all you want. It's not going to stop me from watching him. It's not going to stop me from enjoying his commentary, and it doesn't make me feel like a bad person. So
support it.
I'm an amoral.
At all. That was highly unwelcomed, and it is violating me.
I put my porn out on the internet, and it's violating me because someone shared their opinion on it. I mean, like, this is something that I don't really get about people on the internet, because we had this problem with Jenny Poo Poo as well. It's like, I put my opinion out on the internet, but how dare you disagree about my opinion? Like, you are violating me because I publicly shared my opinion and you criticized me for it. Like, how dare you? It's like, people don't really understand that when you put yourself out there in public, people are not always going to agree with you. They're not always going to like your content. They're not always going to praise you for what you say, right? If you put something out there and somebody thinks you're a shitty person, they're allowed to have that opinion of you and disagree with your opinion. That's allowed. And if you don't want that kind of shit to happen, then don't put yourself out there publicly, right? Like, you don't get to publicly declare something and then point at other people and say, how dare you tell me that I don't get to have my opinion? You know, and it's like, a lot of people, like especially Jenny Poo Poo, this was a big thing with her, that if I disagreed with what she declared publicly, that meant that I thought that she wasn't allowed to have an opinion. And it's like, no, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I'm trying to say you're not allowed to have your opinion. I just disagree with that opinion, and I'm being critical of that opinion. But by no means am I saying that you're not allowed to share it. You're making the choice to share it. You have to deal with the criticism that comes with it. You know, like, free speech means that you can say what you want, but it also means that there's consequences for what you say. And some of those consequences are going to be people being critical of you and disagreeing with that opinion. Like, I don't understand why that's such a difficult concept for people to understand. A significant portion will hate you. There's billions of people. A majority aren't like you. Exactly. Like, how can you not get this through your head that if you put yourself out there in the public, you can't expect that absolutely everybody's going to like you or agree with you or, you know, share your opinion. People have told Shanny to get off the internet. Yeah, she's never going to, though. I mean, she's never going to, because she is one of the ones where this is classic. Like, you guys don't know anything about my real life. But then she puts every single aspect of her real life online and then gets pissed off when people share their opinions about it. It's like, if you don't want people to have opinions on what you say and do, then don't post it. Like, it's not rocket science. But I mean, these people like Shanny and Jenny Poo Poo, they're just too stupid to understand that concept.
Completely. I am a real victim of sexual harassment.
Honey. That's not sexual harassment. Again, people having opinions about you and what you do and what you post online is not harassment. I mean, like, having opinions is not harassment. Now, if drag was constantly messaging you and like contacting you and all that kinds of thing, then yeah, that would be harassment. But just posting his opinion about what you've posted is not harassment in any way. It's not. People are allowed to have their opinions, not just you, Shanny. She even cries on camera. Who does that?
That is sexual harassment.
That's another thing I never understood. Like, she will like film herself full on bawling her eyes out because she wants to garner sympathy. It's all an act. Like, when I'm upset to the point where I am bawling my eyes out, I don't want anybody to see me. Like, even my husband, I'll shut my husband out if I'm that upset because I don't like people watching me when I cry. And like, I will try and hold it back as much as possible. And yeah, like, I don't like it. It makes me extremely uncomfortable and makes me more upset. So how Shanny can just turn the camera on and film herself like snot running out of her nose and bawling her eyes out and all that stuff. Doesn't leave Brittany alone. Chris Crocker. Do you know, actually, Chris Crocker is trans, and her name is, I can't remember her last name, but it's Kara now. And she, honestly, because I followed her like all along, right from the Britney days, and she looks so much happier and healthier now that she's transitioning. Like, oh, I love her. She looks so incredibly, like, she's sober now, because I don't know if you guys knew much about her, but before she transitioned, she did go through a really rough period where she was very heavily drinking and partying and all of that stuff. She got sober. She started transitioning, and she just looks so much happier and healthier now. And it's amazing. Did you see the eviction video? She was in hysterics and everyone laughed. Yes, I remember. Actually, that was one of the videos I was considering reviewing today. And that and her rage stream. So I think we'll probably be looking at that. But when she started freaking out and, I need G-Man, somebody call G-Man, I need G-Man. And then she went stomping down to the office without her mask and all that stuff. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think I watched that one live too. Or when Drag reviewed it, I can't remember which.
Because it was completely unwelcomed.
Doesn't matter if you don't. It's like she thinks that everybody that views her content has to be welcomed. That's kind of not how that works. Again, if you are posting your shit online, people are going to have opinions about it, and opinions are not illegal.
And trust me, your karma is catching up to you.
It's funny how this was in August of 2020, and we're almost at 2 years later, Shanny. So I guess that karma never really showed up, because drag seems to be doing really well. He gets a lot of super chats and shit when he does it. He gets 300 people viewing his live streams. I mean, karma's coming. I wonder what that's supposed to look like, because drag seems like he's in a pretty good place.
Because the more you do this to me, the more you sexually harass me, the more you talk about how my body is and how it looks, the more women are going to notice.
I don't know. The fact that drag has a harem, I think that kind of speaks for itself. There's a lot of women that really do enjoy drag's attention. And he seems pretty happy. So again, Shanny, doesn't look like any of that shit happened.
And the more women are going to speak out, and the more women are going to realize that you are and flag your channel down.
Funny how that never happened either, Shanny. you're really, really bad at this whole predicting shit, right? Because isn't she supposed to be like an archangel that knows all this stuff that God is protecting and God's going to avenge her? It's funny how none of that ever happened.
Because your channel should be flagged down.
Oh no, Drake shared his opinion. He should be flagged and shut down. Huh, Shanny, how many channels have you had terminated since then? Oh, would that be 2 monetized channels gone and done with?
Because you're going completely against terms of service because you're sexually harassing me.
Who got terminated for violating terms of service? Twice. Once for broadcasting child endangerment, and the second time for ban evasion. Huh. Fancy that.
I am a real victim of sexual.
I thought she had super hacker friends. Shanny doesn't have friends. She's got Rev. She's got G-Man. And she's got her simps who give her money. And if you're stupid enough to give Shanny money, you're not smart enough to be a hacker. I mean, let's face it. Like, Shanny is just... Shanny's just not smart. And I mean, obviously, just these whole claims of sexual harassment just didn't go anywhere. Because, I mean, us rational adults understand that what drag is doing is not sexual harassment. Because I bet you any money that if drag stepped over the line and actually went into the realm of sexual harassment, there absolutely would be people that would speak up and speak out about it. And I don't doubt that it would probably, one of those people would be his own wife. Right? Like, he's got a lot of people that I think in his audience that would actually hold him accountable if he overstepped that line. But the fact is that he hasn't. And he's still here. He's still doing what he's doing. So, I mean, obviously drag is doing something okay. And sharing your opinion is not illegal. It's not sexual harassment.
Harassment. You could try to gaslight me all you want. Look at the definition. It is unwelcomed.
I posted my porn online, and I don't like that you didn't like it, and you said mean things on the internet. Like, and you can see, like, look at her face. She is mad. She's angry. You know, like, if you're going to get this angry over somebody else's opinion of you, it's time to turn off the internet. She was on camera crying because people are making money off of her name. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And drag is one of those. But she doesn't really seem to understand that that's allowed, right? That is allowed. You're allowed to review other people's content and you can make money off of it. And the thing is that she just continues to keep providing the content so that people can make money off of her. You know, like, it's really hard to believe that she's got 2 brain cells in her head that actually rub together and do something, because it baffles my mind that somebody this stupid can actually get through life.
I didn't welcome that. I didn't say that was okay.
We didn't need your permission to share our opinions, Shanny. Drag doesn't need to ask you if he can share your opinion about you. Like, you may think that, but that doesn't mean that it's true, honey.
Do you think it's appropriate for 3 grown men to be in a room talking about a woman's body?
Sure. When it's you, Shanny, absolutely I do. And the reason why I believe that is because of the bullshit that you have said about other people. I think that that's karma maybe taking a bite out of you. Because if I recall correctly, if you really want to go down the road of sexual harassment, who was it that propositioned Dragnot multiple times? Who was in his DMs inviting him out to Colorado to have some fun with him and his wife? So, I mean, if we're going to take a look at sexual harassment, Shanny, maybe you should take a look at your own behavior first and understand what sexual harassment actually is. She's a public figure. I don't really like giving her that title because obviously, you know, I don't think she's a public figure, but she kind of is at the same time. She's not a positive public figure, I guess we could put it that way. Tabloids don't ask celebrities to talk about them. Yeah, exactly. They don't. They don't. Because you don't have to ask somebody's opinion you don't have to ask somebody's permission to share your own opinion. That's not how that works. She puts her stuff in public. Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, again, it boils down to, if you don't want people sharing their opinions on what you post, then don't post it. You know, like, it's as simple as that. That's all she has to do to be a public figure. Yeah, that's a good point. That would mean I could claim being a public figure.
Do you honestly think it's okay
Yes.
to put rude, snide, horrible, rapist-like remarks about a woman's body?
I think it's okay for him to share his opinion on it, yeah. I mean, Shanny, when you think about it, like, some of the stuff that you've said is no different than what Drag has said. Again, opinions aren't illegal. And no matter how mad you get about it, not going to change that fact.
To put her down. Do you honestly think that's okay as a
Yes.
human being? Because honestly, I don't want to know you if you do.
Oh, is that why you have me blocked on everything, Shanny? G-Man is making threats because she lost her channel again. I heard that he went on a rampage, making threats to Miss Parker and her husband. Has he made threats like beyond that again? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm still subscribed to him. Let me take a look real quick. G-Man's notorious for posting shit and then deleting it. I can say that it's my opinion that she recreational hunts hyenas with a horde of slimy goblins. Yeah, exactly. You can. You absolutely can. And I mean, like, I saw a really great breakdown of defamation today that someone left a really good comment on one of my videos that you can't sue for defamation unless you can prove that what people are saying about you is, number one, untrue, and number two, has caused you some kind of financial loss, right? So unfortunately, Shanny fails at the first one because everything that Drag and everybody else has said, they can prove is true, right? So that's not going to work well in Shanny's favor, which is why one of the reasons why she hasn't been able to sue him, and she's not going to be able to sue him, because I mean, Drag knows what he's doing. He's got his bases covered. Where is G-Man? Did G-Man delete his channel? I don't think he deleted his channel because he's got what, like 26? There he is. Oh no, that's the parody account. God damn it. I subbed to the G-Man parody channel that has clips of Gary, which is hilarious. I do not see anything recent, unfortunately. So if he did something other than the stream that he did about Miss Parker the other day, which he deleted like immediately after he did it, because I think he knew. I don't see anything new from him. Also, it has to be stated as fact. Yes, that's true. And I mean, like, as soon as you say, well, this is my opinion, that kind of invalidates it all, because people are allowed to have their own opinions, and you can't sue somebody for their opinion of you. G-Man has threatened to sue Dragnot several times. Oh, yeah. And yet still nothing's happened. He's physically threatened Drag before as well. You know, to the point where Drag has his cousin on speed dial if Gary happens to show up in Texas. Now, we know that's never going to happen because Gary's a big pussy, but I mean, Gary likes to flap his lips and make these threats. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is it's going to come back and bite him in the ass, because he was threatening Mr. Parker, I believe, or a friend of theirs, I can't remember 100%, about making a claim to the police that he was selling drugs. Well, you can't just call up the police and make empty threats like that, right? So, I mean, it's going to come back and bite him for making false police reports if he's doing that, for wasting, you know, police time and resources. He said he would blow up. I believe it. I believe it because Gary kind of runs his mouth and doesn't really think about what he's saying. And I'm surprised that because he's deleted his shit so quickly that he hasn't had his main channel taken down for making threats like that. I mean, it's eventually going to catch up to him, but there's also an anti-slap lawsuits just for that reason. Sue me, I'll sue you back. Right. Like, I mean, like take Jenny Poo Poo, for example. I don't know if you guys know about my beef with Jenny Poo Poo. She's kind of deleted herself off the internet, and I haven't found any of her new shit. So, I mean, I don't really care. But she shared on Getter a picture of it was sexually explicit pictures of children in sexually explicit situations. So it was sexual assault material, basically, of kids. And I called her a pedo for that because she willingly shared that on Getter, on the internet. And she got extremely angry because I shared my opinion about what I thought of her for that. And I called her a pedo. And that's my opinion. But one thing that she got very mad at me about is because she claimed that I was saying that she's committed a crime. Well, being a pedophile is not a crime. It's not a crime unless you act on it. And then when you act on it, you're not a pedo anymore. You're actually a child molester. So I didn't accuse her of committing any crimes. So she had no grounds to sue me. She's got no grounds to sue me still, even after saying that I think she's a pedophile for sharing that material. But she did threaten to call a lawyer. And like, that's the thing, is that, that there's nothing there, right? You have to have actual grounds to be able to sue somebody, and there actually has to be like defamation. And me accusing someone of being a pedophile is not accusing them of committing a crime, right? Because it's one thing to be a pedophile, and it's another thing to be a pedophile and actually act on it and commit a crime. So I didn't do anything wrong. But people like Jenny and like Shanny don't understand that bullshit. So they make all these empty claims like, oh, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. And then nothing ever happens because there's no lawyer out there that would be like, yeah, you have a case. You know what I mean? And any lawyer out there that does say, oh, I'll take your case on, is just looking for your money because they know that you don't have a case, right? So it's hard to sue for it is. It absolutely is. Like when you actually do have a case for defamation, it's still really, really difficult to prove it and actually win a case in court. It's extremely difficult. And like, I don't see why you would waste your money on it. And like when it came to Jenny Poo Poo and her, you know, being upset about me calling her a pedophile, you know, like I didn't, by me claiming that she was a pedophile, she didn't suffer any monetary loss for that. So what's she going to sue me for? She didn't lose anything. She just doesn't, you don't get to sue somebody just because you don't like their opinion of you. That's not how that works. But you go for it. You go hire a lawyer and retain a lawyer, and you waste your money. Take me to court, because when I win, you're going to be paying my court costs and my lawyer fees. So it's just going to be more expensive for you, right? G-Man called. Yes, I remember that. And they did absolutely nothing. And he threatened to do it again, too. He was like, go ahead, Gary, call the cops on me. Nothing happened last time because the same thing happened. Shanny did it, just a couple weeks ago, where she called the police on Drag and nothing happened. Like, you think that these people would realize that what they are doing is ineffectual, right? Like, nothing's happening. And yet they still keep going on and on and on. They don't learn. They're too stupid to learn. Too stupid. Oh my God, we're only like a couple minutes into this. I gotta speed her up a little bit.
You have no moral integrity.
Aww.
Absolutely none. And every single one of you should be ashamed of yourself for condoning this behavior. Because if this happened to you, you would be horrified.
No, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't care. I mean, I plan on setting up my OnlyFans in the next couple of weeks. I have a particular idea of what I'm going to be doing. If people are paying for my content, I don't really give a shit. Like, if people want to critique what I'm doing, I don't give a shit. Like, that would be on me for putting it out there. I mean, I can't put it out there and then cry because some people have opinions on it. It's just, it kind of comes with the territory when you post shit in public, you know? Like, I don't really get why that's such a difficult concept. There is no little bubble on the internet where you can go and post in your echo chamber and you only get people that agree with you. That's just never going to happen. Right? So if you don't want your opinions to be critiqued, or you don't want the things that you do to be critiqued or people to have opinions on it, then don't post it publicly. Like, that's, I don't know how much simpler that can be. I'd share the stuff I share and keep my private life private like you're supposed to. Right. And like, there's people out there that want to share every aspect of their life. That's their choice. How much you share online is completely your call. It's up to you. And if you're not comfortable sharing your private life, then don't share it. No one's forcing you to. But you don't get to post your shit online and then get mad because people have opinions about it. Like, it's not that complicated.
You would be shamed. You would not like it at all.
I'm fine with it.
What drag did was sexual harassment toward me and my husband, period. And I am asking YouTube to help me with this.
We can see how well YouTube listened to you, Shanny.
Because he's going against terms of service and getting away with it by calling things entertainment.
No, he was providing critique. He was sharing his opinion, which is within TOS, honey. And again, it's not sexual harassment to share opinions.
Sexual harassment should not be called entertainment. And it doesn't matter if someone does pornography or not. It does not give you the right to violate them and sexually harass them.
Again, honey, it's people are allowed to watch your shit if you post it and share their opinion on it. If you were so worried about people seeing it and not liking it, then you shouldn't have posted it.
Period. Sex workers do not deserve to be sexually harassed.
Phoenix, yeah, that absolutely, that bothers me too. Those boys are going to have a lot of difficulty in transitioning into the real world and interacting with other people because they just don't have the social skills, right? Like, I mean, could you imagine like one of the boys growing up and getting into a relationship and moving in with someone and then having to explain that you were raised in a home where it was okay to piss in the corner of your bedroom because your bathroom was so goddamn filthy that you couldn't use it? You know, like she has set up those boys to completely fail at life because she just can't be bothered to actually raise them, you know? So they're going to struggle now for the rest of their lives with any other relationships they have, be it friendship, be it romantic, anything. Like in jobs, they're going to struggle so much because they don't know how to behave in an acceptable manner in public, right? And that's all on Shanny. That is 1000% on Shanny. Did you see the mattresses? Yeah, I did. I watched all of those videos when they did the walkthrough of the apartment. It was absolutely appalling. And what boggles my mind is that when those videos, hopefully those videos were shown to the CPS in Pennsylvania, the boys are still with her. You know, it's like, it's almost like the environment that the boys were in didn't matter whatsoever. Like, if they're living in a condemned house right now, how is that acceptable? You know, but I don't know. I guess I can't really speak for CPS, but I mean, that whole CPS system is just, it's broken in both Canada and the US because they go in and they take kids from perfectly good homes and bad things happen. We've had some stories up here of, you know, children being taken from good homes, placed with family members. There was a little boy that was 18 months old that was taken from his parents, placed with his grandfather who had a history of child abuse already, and the boy ended up dying. You know, and yet there's children in dire situations, like obviously abuse and neglect here, and yet CPS doesn't do anything. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And how dare you think it's okay to sexually harass a sex worker? How dare you slut shame a woman? How dare you? You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Standing there.
I mean, you're a racist, Shanny. So I think before you should turn around and point the fingers at anybody else, you should maybe do a little self-reflection and remember some of the terrible things that you've said and done, how you personally have sexually harassed Dragnot and his wife. And yet here you are, super, super big mad because Drag is sharing his opinion of your pornography. Oh no. Self-admitted racist. Yeah.
Sexually.
And I mean, we have how much video of both Rev and Shanny using the N-word? Quite a lot. No, I mean, it's more than once. Kids fall out of the second story window. Greg still has kids. Yeah, like, I don't understand how that's possible. And yet, there was a family down in Florida that had to do with, it was something like missing an immunization, or it was something really, really minor that they were trying to rectify. And in the process, before even giving them a chance, their child was taken away. And then she was pregnant at the time. And then as soon as the baby was born, they went in and took the baby before like completing the investigation. You know, so it's like, how is this possible? Like, why are you going in and taking kids from parents that are trying, and yet kids that are being neglected are being left on the wayside? Like, look at what happened in Texas, right? The governor of Texas wanted CPS to go in and take trans kids out of loving, supportive homes when they instead should be focusing on the kids that are actually in danger and being neglected. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a parent.
Harassing me like you do, talking about my body like it's some object for you to glare at and talk about.
Well, you put it out there, though. I mean, you made the porn and put it out there and, you know, received money for people purchasing it. And I believe Drag might have been one of those people that purchased it. So it's allowed to share his opinion, honey. Texas wants to kill abortion seekers. Yeah, I believe it. They arrested a woman who took one of the abortion pills. And even though abortion is not illegal, abortion is still legal federally because Roe v. Versus Wade is still in effect. And yeah, one of the nurses that was caring for her at the hospital violated the HIPAA laws and reported her to the police, and she was arrested. Now, of course, the charges were dropped after the outcry because, you know, there were a lot of people pointing out that what she did was not illegal. But yeah, Texas is so pro-life that if you seek out abortion, they want to kill you because that makes so much sense, right? Did you see her video about her hands off parenting? She said something about no exceptions or no expectations for her boys. It is heartbreaking. It is, because it's only going to make life harder for those boys, because they are going to go out into the world. They are going to go out into society that has certain expectations for your behavior, and they're not going to know what to do or say or behave, you know, and that might even be as extreme as, you know, going out somewhere and breaking a law because they just didn't know any better. They didn't, you know, and you can't fault the boys for that if they grow up in an environment like this where they're not taught the things that they need to know, because that's your job as a parent, right? To prepare your children for the world. You know, it's your job as a parent to raise them up so that they can be a functioning member of society like everybody else. And if you don't do that, then obviously you failed. And she's setting up those boys to fail. She already has set up those boys to fail. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of work required there in order for them to learn the things that they need to know to be able to function in society. And that's all on her. 1000% all on her. People don't understand free range parenting shouldn't be allowed to try. Yeah, exactly. Like there is a time where, like, I've heard of free range parenting before, but that still includes teaching your children how to function with other people. Like, you have to learn how to function with other people. Unless you're growing up feral in the middle of the woods and you're never going to have interaction with other humans ever again, then it doesn't matter. But if you're going to go out and go to school and get a job and, have a future, eventually have a relationship, hopefully have a family one day, there's certain social skills that you need to learn to be able to do that. And Shanny just doesn't give a shit about any of that, because look at her, you know, her life is her relationship with Rev, who she used all his money and he answers her beck and call and is basically her little bitch, right? She sits on a bed all day and does absolutely nothing. What does that teach her boys? Right? Like, and I don't, I, it's really upsetting when I sit down and think about it, because it's one thing to sit here and criticize Shanny and Rev for the terrible people that they are, but it's another thing to really understand what they're doing to those two boys and what they've really set those boys up for. And this is why I really wish that CPS had stepped in when they made the move, because those boys are going to need a lot of help and a lot of assistance to be able to function normally. And that's all Shanny's fault, like 100% all Shanny's fault. No, and I'm not crapping on alternative parenting styles either. But you've got to, yeah, it's exactly like you're saying. You've got to know what you're doing. You got to have like a game plan. Like there's this one parent on TikTok that I really like. She has a very different parenting style than me. She gives her boys a lot more freedom. Her boys at 2 and 4 know how to cook basic things. But like she's still teaching them the skills that they need to interact with other adults. She's teaching them about consent. She's teaching them about managing their feelings, talking about their emotions. So like if somebody comes up to you and hurts your feelings, like, hey, I don't like that. You should stop doing that. And this is why, So like, even though I don't feel comfortable parenting the way that she does, I can see how it's benefiting her boys, and her boys are still going to be adjusted enough that they're going to be able to, function like anybody else. But you got to know what you're doing. Like Shanny is just neglectful in her parenting. She doesn't give a shit. And that doesn't help her boys whatsoever to let them just fend for themselves. Rev verbally abused those boys. Yeah, that's exactly why. Like she was terminated because she was broadcasting child abuse. And I don't really understand how Rev and Shanny can sit here and say, well, people are lying about it and we didn't do that and that's not what happened. And yet we have video evidence of it happening. They just want to, because it's deleted, it's gone, it must have never happened, and that they can try and sit there and pretend and lie about it when we all know the truth. Like, I watched it live. I've watched her abuse her boys live myself with my own 2 eyes. Like the night that they arrived in Pennsylvania, she had the internet set up. She was streaming and she was flipping the hell out because people were getting on her for what she broadcast for letting Rev verbally abuse the boys. And they were calling her a bad parent. And she was really losing her temper about, I'm not a bad parent. I'm not a bad parent. She went and got William, dragged him to the computer and stood him in front of the camera and tried to berate him into saying that she's not a bad parent. And William stood there and all you could see was his torso. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. And she stood there and screamed at that 14-year-old boy for a good 10-15 minutes because she was mad at the people on the internet for calling her a bad parent. But she was taking it out on her son because she couldn't yell at the people online. And that is like textbook abusive. But she tries to deny, hey, I don't do that. I don't abuse my kids. I've seen your abuse with my own 2 eyes, lady. So don't sit here and try and tell me you're not an abusive parent, because I've seen it. I have seen it. And that I was so furious about that, because my son, at the time that this happened, my son was the same age as her son. Like William and my son are the same age. My son's, I think, like 6 months older than William or so. So that really, really kind of got to me, because it was like, I would never in 100 years talk to my son the same way that she talked to hers. Like, I just couldn't imagine screaming at my son the way that she screamed at William. Like, it's just, and I think because I have a son the same age, that just really, really got to me, made me really angry. Tell all the internet you love Jesus. Oh my God. I told her she was a child abuser and she blocked me. Yeah, I think she blocked me for like a really stupid reason, because I told her that if she wanted to be seen as a professional when she was streaming, she should at least try and make herself look professional. And most professionals I know actually, like, brush their hair before they get on camera, or maybe change their clothes once in a while, or brush their teeth, or try and make themselves look a little professional, and not like they just rolled out of bed and turned on the camera. But what do I know?
Sex workers don't deserve to be objectified like that. They're there for entertainment's sakes, and
They're there for entertainment's sakes, and yet you are getting pissed off at drag because he's was entertained by your content, but not in the way that you agree. Oh no.
sakes only. And if you're going to be coming to them in a negative manner, in a sexual harassing manner, they have every right to sue your ass.
Oh, how'd that work out for you, Shanny? Did you retain that lawyer? Because I'm sure drag's still wondering almost 2 years later, how's that lawsuit's coming along?
They have every right to call authorities on you. They have every right to sue you, to take legal action against you.
It's funny how they keep claiming that they're going to take legal action, and yet nothing ever happens. Nothing. Like, it's funny that they thought they had a lawyer like a couple months ago, and it turned out to be just a troll. And now Gary was saying the other day, I can't remember if it was on the Rev stream or whether it was on his own stream, when he was threatening Miss Parker. He was talking about he retained a lawyer for Ranny and Chev. That's the words that were just about to come out of my mouth, people. Ranny and Chev. Good fucking Lord. Anyway, G-Man was talking about that he's supposedly retained a lawyer for Shanny and Rev. And it's been noted that Gary has not been vaccinated. And because he's not vaccinated, he hasn't been able to work his usual hours. Like, he works 1 week and then he's off for 3. So one has to wonder where exactly he's getting all this money from, because apparently he's paying all of Shanny and Rev's videos, or paying all their expenses, paying for their groceries, paying for their drugs. And now he's got money to retain a lawyer. Like, where are you getting all the money from, Gary? This will be interesting to see. G-Man thinks there's a Nevada police department. Is there? Well, no, those would be like state troopers, would it not? Yes, drugs, okay? Like, technically it is a drug, because if you put it into your body and it's technically not food, it's considered a drug. I'm not saying that it's an illegal drug, but it's still technically a drug. And I've got no problem with cannabis. I am a regular user of cannabis, so I get it. Oh, Ranny and Chev, good Lord. Oh, I'm going to be embarrassed about that for the rest of the fucking night.
Because, like it or not, it was unwanted, inappropriate, sexual remarks, and any judge who hears it knows it's true.
Then why haven't you brought it before a judge there, Shanny? I mean, sexual harassment would be a crime, not really a civil issue. So, I mean, why wouldn't you call the police and have charges laid? Oh, could it be because there's no charges to be laid? Oh, I betcha.
Because I say it's unwanted. And if I say it's unwanted, it's harassment.
If I say it's unwanted, it's harassment. Shanny, that's not how the world works, sweetheart. That's not how the world works. Just because you say something doesn't mean it's true. I'm sorry, honey. No, I know Nevada's a state. I meant that there is no police part. Oh, okay. See, I'm Canadian, so I don't know how that works. I know that like individual cities and stuff, like counties, would have their certain police departments, but don't you have like state police on like a state level? Um, I on because like in Canada, that's how it works. Like we have our individual municipalities, like our cities. We have like a local police. And then we have in each of our provinces, then it's divided into a bigger where we have our Ontario provincial police who have jurisdiction throughout the whole province. And then we have our federal police, which are the RCMP. So, I mean, you could call the OPP, like in this situation, Shanny could call the OPP. Now, whether or not something like this would be in their jurisdiction, I have no clue. But that would be the same as saying that call the Nevada police. You can call the Ontario police because we have a provincial branch of our police department. Municipal police, county sheriff, state troopers. Okay. Gotcha. You wouldn't call them police. Oh. See, this is all stuff I've got to learn when I'm immigrating, so.
You pig. You pig of a man. You and your brothers are pigs.
Now, see, Shanny, you are very upset that Drag and his friends have shared their opinion of you. Now, you're sitting here calling him and them a pig. So why is it okay for you but not for them? That's a bit of a double standard, don't you think?
And I hope that's that cop. I hope it's the cop. Because if that's your cop brother, I'm going to go and give...
Cousin. How many times has Drag had to explain this? That the cop that he's constantly talking about is his goddamn cousin, not his brother. Like, what the fuck? These people are so fucking dense.
Give that video to the Houston police and be like, is that really what you want your cop to be shown on camera as? And then I'll go to the Houston News Center and I'll give them the video and be like, look what Houston cops do to women online. They sexually harass women.
I see that you went and did that though, right? Like, God, she's stupid.
They sexually harass sex workers. Do you really want that? Because I can cause a big stink if you really want me to.
Well, you didn't, so.
Because you are sexually harassing me. That was vile, disgusting horribleness that you did. That was complete evil, what you did.
Ooh, now it's evil to have an opinion. Oh, no.
You do not, and I do, you do not talk about a woman's body like that. You do not invalidate a woman's body like that. You don't call a woman's body gross or disgusting.
But you are gross and disgusting. You are. You don't bathe yourself. You're covered in rashes. You barely wash your hair. You don't brush it. Your teeth are falling to your face. You don't take care of yourself. So you look gross and disgusting. Like, people have seen you in real life and said that they can smell you from a mile away because you don't look after yourself. Like, people are allowed to think that you're disgusting when you don't bathe. What do you expect?
To public, thinking it's funny? That's not funny. That's completely degrading a human being.
Well, just like you know, being racist and, you know, using the N-word and propositioning Drag because you want to sleep with him and talking about his dick and, you know, all of that, because it's totally okay for you, right, Shanny? But as soon as somebody treats you the same way you've treated them, oh no, they're vile, disgusting, evil human beings. Like, are we not seeing the double standard here?
That is harassment. That isn't jokes. That is harassment. And if this was any other fucking field, you would be fired. And trust me, Dragna, any job I figure out that you're staying at, I'm going to give a call. And I'm going to give that.
And yet, it is totally okay for her to threaten to call Drag's job and tell them about what he does online. Like, that's not a threat at all. That's totally okay. That's okay within the realm of Shanny things. But of course, Drag sharing his opinion is just not okay.
That video to them, and I'm going to be like, do you really want this man to work for you? Do you really want this man to work for you?
How's that working out?
And I'm going to get a hold of your school too, and I'm going to show them that video and say that their student is sexually harassing me.
See, she's making a lot of really big threats here. a lot of really big threats that she could be held accountable for. She's threatening to call his job. She's threatening to call his school. She's threatening his cousin's job, threatening to go to the media. I mean, like, so she doesn't really seem to grasp the concept of what she's doing right now is way worse than what she's trying to accuse Dragnot of doing. Irate Alex played sexy music and she lost her mind. Really? Oh, I want to see that. I really like it when she rages, because then, like, she does a lot of bullshit like this where she just makes empty threats like crazy, and yet that's somehow acceptable, but drag sharing his opinion is not.
Let's see if you'll keep your fucking job then.
Well, almost 2 years later, they're both still employed, so I would say that would be yes.
Let's see if you keep your freaking degree then, after your school realized you're a sexual harasser.
Again, 2 years later, Drag's still working at his school, still doing his experiments. So I would say that would be a yes. He kept all that stuff.
After your job knows you're a sexual harasser.
Yeah, if you could, you can email me, or you can, I think I've got my Twitter linked on my, on my profile page on YouTube. There's a link up in the right-hand corner to my Twitter. You can send it to me in a Twitter DM.
After the Houston PD knows you're a sexual harasser. After the whole world knows you're a sexual harasser.
It's funny how I've been watching drag pretty religiously for the past year and a half, and I didn't know that drag was supposedly a sexual harasser. I don't consider him a sexual harasser. Doesn't look like he's been charged with any sexual harassment, so I'd say you're pretty wrong on that count, Shanny.
I am tired.
Imagine being on the receiving end of that Shanny call. Yeah, right. And it's funny because, like, she calls the police and she ends up being the one arrested.
A pig fucking men like you, who think they can put one over at me and try to sexually violate me and degrade me as a human being.
No one was sexually violating you, Shanny. Again, you put your porn out there for people to watch. People watched it. They shared your opinion. You don't like their opinion. It would be totally fine if she was bitching about how much she doesn't like their opinion. That's fine. You don't have to like somebody else's opinion, and you can be upset about it. That's fine. It's okay, and it's completely valid to be mad about it. But you don't get to sue somebody else because you don't like their opinion. Like, that's not how the world works, right? You can't sue somebody because you don't like them. They have to actually do something bad. They actually have to be causing you harm. They actually have to be causing you financial loss. And none of that is happening. So you're mad that somebody didn't like your porn? Ma'am, that isn't a crime. Yeah, exactly. Like 1,000%.
I am so fucking done with men like you. Vile men.
I mean, I don't think Drag was worried about you being done with him in the first place. Like, I'm so fucking done with you. That would be like Jenny Poo Poo saying, I'm so fucking done with you, Mindy. Okay. What the fuck? What do I care? Be done with me all you want. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, it's not like we were in a relationship in any way that matters to me. But apparently, like Jenny Poo Poo, Shanny seems to think that this is some kind of threat. Like, no. I need popcorn. Ooh, popcorn sounds good.
Who rape women, who try to rape women's minds because they know they leave.
Shit, their drag apparently is trying to rape her mind. Oh no. Is she listening to herself? Like, come on, Shanny.
Can't put their hands on them, and I dare you to try to put your hands on.
I thought us potheads were supposed to be chill. Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be. I know I certainly get happy and chill when I smoke my bowl every night, but this lady is just off her rocker. Bring some to share, yeah.
On me. I dare you, you and your 3 little freaking brothers. I dare you to come to me. I'm guarded by 2 guards at all time with AK-47s, baby.
Wait,
and
what? She's guarded by 2 people with AK-47s? Like, does she not realize the conundrum she just set up here? She invited Drag and these guys to come and see her, and then says in the next breath, when you get here, I'm guarded by people with AK-47s. Like, Do you not see the irony in that statement? Like, what if Drag and his cousin and his brother, whoever it was that did the stream, rolled up and said, yeah, hi, this person in this apartment invited us here. They'll be like, oh, and they'll verify it and let him in. Like, you don't invite somebody over and then threaten to shoot them because you invited them over. Like, are you stupid?
Nice security
I
system.
think it's ironic that a woman is telling Shanny how wrong she is. Oh, well, according to Shanny, I'm terrible, I'm immoral, and I'm not a feminist because I disagree with her, but, you know, whatever.
That I paid $250 a month for just to protect myself from motherfuckers like you.
I don't think Drag would ever bother going to see you, Shanny, so I don't think that was ever a problem. Drag has never shown any interest. And I mean, this is not like the first time you've invited him to come and see you. You and Rev have done that a few times. So, I mean, duh.
Come at me, bro. Oh, and
how dare you accept my invite, right, Sleek? Like, I'm going to shoot you because I invited you here. Like, come on now. Drag, she's got to know that Drag's smarter than that.
Might want to add a little thing. People like you aren't very welcomed here. I'm just saying.
You're not welcomed here, but I invited you here. So that's kind of the opposite. Like, you just welcomed him here by inviting him. And like, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I'm picking up a little bit of subtle racism here. Like, people like you aren't welcomed here. What exactly is she meaning by that? People like who, Shanny? People like who? Are you trying to be racist? Because that seems really racist to me.
The cops definitely don't like people like you.
Oh, well, see, now we're doubling down. The cops definitely don't like people like you. Like, okay. So you're allowed to be a racist on camera, Shanny. That's totally okay. But again, how dare Drag share his opinion on your porn?
And they know about you. The feds know about you.
They do.
And the more you do this, the more they'll have proof to get you in jail.
Again, almost 2 years later, haven't seen any arrests yet, Shanny.
And I'm going to laugh when you do.
I guess you'll be. I mean, it's funny how we're the ones that are kind of laughing at you, Shanny, and how your life has fallen apart bit by bit by bit over the last 2 years. And Drag has only been able to get better and better. And, you know, he's happy. He's well established. He's making money. He's going out having a good time. He's getting lots of attention. He's making money off of you. So it just seems to me like things aren't going the way that you seem to think they're going. People who say, if you come near me, I'll shoot you in an attempt to seem tough are adorable. Yeah, that's basically. And the funny thing is that now she's living in a condemned house. So, I mean, where's all that big protection now, right? She called G-Man the N-word. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Like, she's just a big old racist. And she doesn't try and hide it. But, like, it's perfectly okay for her to behave that way. But, again, how dare Drag share his opinion?
No. Get off my channel. A woman does not deserve to be sexually harassed and have inappropriate sexual remarks done to them because they're in pornography.
But you're not being sexually harassed. Again, sharing your opinion is not sexual harassment, ShanShan. No, Rev said, come near me, you're invited, then shot. Yeah.
That is to be violated. You should be ashamed of yourself. No. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I think they probably do. They probably endorse men raping their wives. That's sick.
Like, and Rev just spouts off like complete bullshit in the background. They probably endorse men assaulting their wives. That's sick. Like, they just make shit up when I don't think Drag would ever say or endorse anything of that manner. But in order to make themselves look more like the victim, they have to make shit up about that.
I started a fight and bit off more than I can chew. No. The woman does not deserve to be sexually harassed because she says something to a male that he doesn't like.
What? Just the way you're going off of your rocker because Drag said something that you don't like? I mean, that is a two-way street there, sweetheart. Two-way street. So it's okay for you, but not okay for drag. Just because you're a woman. No, sorry. That's not how that works. A firearm is a tool, so is Rev. Yeah. Well, I mean, Rev is not a very useful tool. He's one of those tools that gets kind of thrown in the junk drawer and you keep coming across every time you go looking for batteries or the scissors and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. It's kind of, you know what? He's like an Allen key from IKEA. You always have like 3 or 4 of them. You're always finding them in places when you don't need them. But then when you actually do need them, nowhere to be found. That's how useful Rev is. That's the kind of tool he is.
Don't fucking play that with me. Don't play that with me.
How dare you oppose
I'm a
me?
real fucking feminist.
I'm a real fucking feminist that gets mad and I don't hold myself accountable. I can be racist and sexist too. Oh my God.
Real fucking feminist. I don't believe any man has any right to say anything sexually about a woman if she doesn't welcome it.
Again, opinions. Just because you're a feminist doesn't mean that you get to take somebody's right to have their opinion away from them, Shanny. That's, again, you're trying to give yourself way too much power. I mean, you can disagree with that opinion. You're allowed to be mad about that opinion, but you don't get to say somebody else doesn't have the right to their opinion.
And
Rev
guess
is
what?
that tiny screwdriver that comes in my vape kits. That just gets thrown away or lost and you never see it again. I was going to say a pizza cutter, all edge, no point. I never use it, so I have so many at this point, I just toss them. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, Allen keys are the same way. Like, I have so many Allen keys, and I use them once, and then they get lost. And then, you know, sometimes when I actually do need one, I can never find it.
That's the fucking law.
No, it's not.
That's the fucking law. And I have every reason to sue you, motherfucker, for everything you say to me.
But yet you haven't, Shanny. Because that's not how the law works.
I don't think they should be allowed.
You should not be talking about a woman's genitals like that and how she smells.
Well, I mean, we can only imagine how you smell. We've had people verify in public how bad you smell. So it sounds like drag wasn't really that far off from the truth, honey. Because could you imagine like the stench of BO and cigarettes and weed and just like piss just walking past you? If that's how you smell while you're fully clothed walking around in public, could you imagine how concentrated that smell would be down there? Like, oh God, that makes me want to throw up. No, thank you. Okay, moving on.
That's something rapists say. And how do I know that? Because I've
No, I just said it and I'm not a rapist, so that just proved you wrong.
been raped before. That's how you rapists like to talk. And you put big giant red flags, and I'm going to warn every single woman out there about you so they know.
Shanny, I didn't get a warning, so I guess you didn't stick to your word, did you? Because I started watching drag, I didn't get no warning.
Who you are.
Who you are.
Talk like a rapist to women, which means something. You probably are.
Oh,
you probably
see, now this is where we're getting big here. So it's not okay for a drag to have an opinion, but apparently now it's okay for Shanny to make baseless claims about drag because she doesn't like his opinion and call him an assaulter. Woo, Shanny. Shanny.
got kicked out of the army because you did that to women. I guarantee you got kicked out for men.
Yeah, see, now she's just making all kinds of baseless claims because she's big mad. And she's kind of digging her own hole here because she's going on and on and on about how drag is not allowed to say all these things about her. But apparently she's given herself permission to make all these claims about drag.
Mental reasons. You're a fucking psychopath, dude. Sexually harass women. And then the sick part is you're so obsessed about me that you bring on your own family members to harass me. You bring in your own family.
Because
that's how
it's funny. Because he makes money off of it. Like, why wouldn't he? You were a lol cow that just keeps on providing, honey. Why not?
think of me so personally.
This didn't age well. No, it didn't age well at all. One person is making a defamation case, the other is just a whiny baby. Yep. And I mean, she's like kind of setting it up for her to be the one that actually gets sued, because she's actually making claims that she could be held accountable for. You know, like, she's too stupid to realize what she's doing and how much of a hypocrite she's being.
How obsessed you are to me. That's how mentally ill you are. You seriously need to get some fucking therapy, Dragna. You're sexually harassing
He's
women.
already said that he's in therapy, ShanShan. Yep. Anyway, guys, I just took a look, and I have been streaming for an hour and a half. And I'm on unlimited internet. So I think what we're going to do, because this stream was so entertaining, we'll do a part 2 maybe sometime tomorrow afternoon if I'm not busy, or tomorrow night. But I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing and helping me get over that 500 subscriber count. So now I can use my community tab. I will post something on the community tab as soon as it's opened up on me. Hopefully it will be sometime this week, because I saw again that it usually takes about a week to kick in and let you have it. But you guys are so amazing. I appreciate it so much. I am so excited that I'm finally able to open that up and unlock that for myself. And then our next goal will be 1,000. So we'll see. It's taken me 2 years to get to 500. So hopefully I get to 1,000 a little bit quicker than 2 years. It'd like be me suing a homeless man for what, his shopping cart? Yeah, that's a very good point, Sleek. Like, what would Drag get out of suing them? I mean, it would be basically a point of pride, really, just to kind of prove her wrong. Like, I mean, I would do it simply for the satisfaction of seeing a judge tell her that she's wrong. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I don't want money. I just want somebody of authority to tell her she's a moron and that she lost and doesn't have a case. So, you know, that's the enjoyment that I would get out of it. Like the same thing, like I said about Jenny Poo Poo. Like, she can try and sue me all she wants. I would get I wouldn't even want any, like, to counter sue. I would be happy with just somebody telling her she's wrong and sticking her with my lawyer's fees. That's, you know, that would be enough satisfaction for me. The lawyer wouldn't take it as one of, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, there wouldn't be, and if there was a lawyer out there that would take the case, they would be only doing it to just get as much money out of it as they possibly could, you know. But I mean, when Shanny doesn't have any money, what are you going to do? She will just cry and play the victim like she always does. Yep, that's kind of Shanny's MO, right? She's kind of a professional victim at this point. And she's going to garner as much sympathy as she possibly can, because that's when people donate to her. So what do you do? But again, thank you so much for watching, guys. You are all amazing. I will set up another stream probably for tomorrow afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. I might do a little short tonight too about hitting 500 and thanking you all, because I posted on my Twitter about needing 12 subscribers and I hit it before the stream even started. So if you're here from my Twitter watching, I love you all. You're fucking amazing. Like, I have the best audience. You guys are great. But thank you for putting up with me, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys. You have a great night.